Zionism is a political and national movement. Its core objective is the creation and long-term preservation of a Jewish state in the Middle East. But building that state ran counter to many traditional and Orthodox Jewish teachings. According to those religious texts, Jews were forbidden by God to have their own sovereign state until the arrival of the Messiah. The early political movement, however, pushed toward statehood regardless. The organized push started in 1897. Theodore Herzl formed the World Zinist Organization, formally advocating for a sovereign Jewish state in Palestine. Herzl's urgency came directly from the environment around him. In 19th-century Europe, anti-Semitic sentiment was rising sharply, making life increasingly dangerous for Jewish communities. Herzl and his followers transformed Zionism from a religious yearning into a political demand, prioritizing physical survival over theological patience. To build global support for establishing this state in Palestine, a specific slogan began spreading around the world: a land without a people for a people without a land. The demographic reality on the ground contradicted that claim. Palestine already had an established population. A large number of Muslims and Christians, along with a smaller community of Jews, had lived there together in relative peace for centuries. For many Christian Zionists in the West and the European Jewish Zionists driving the movement, the existence of this established non-Jewish population made little difference. From its inception, the political goal of securing a Jewish homeland clashed directly with the demographics already present in the region. The physical realization of the Zionist project required global shifts in power, and the first major opening came at the end of World War I with the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. Authority over Palestine was transferred to the British. With Imperial British support backing the territory, steady Jewish immigration into the newly occupied region began. Then came the second geopolitical catalyst, World War II and the systemic destruction of European Jewry during the Holocaust. In the wake of this tragedy, the flow of Jewish refugees seeking safety in occupied Palestine boomed. Simultaneously, many Western nations threw their full backing behind the necessity of a Jewish state. To manage the escalating demographic clash, the United Nations drafted a resolution in 1947. This map shows their proposed solution, a formal partition dividing the region into independent Arab and Jewish states. The combination of the Ottoman collapse and the horrors in Europe provided both the physical access and the clear moral urgency needed to accelerate the Zionist movement into a reality. But the UN partition was only a recommendation. In 1948, Israel bypassed the proposed agreement and officially declared its own independence. That unilateral move received immediate international validation when the United States, under President Harry Truman, officially recognized the state that very same day. The establishment of the state triggered an immediate invasion. By the end of that conflict, Israel had secured its initial borders. The map shifted again during the 1967 Six-Day War, as Israel decisively extended military control over an extensive expanse of surrounding territory. The main victory of the Zionist movement was secured through military conquests. However, those expanding borders resulted in the displacement of countless Christian and Muslim Palestinians from their homes. A year after that expansion, the 28th World Zionist Congress adopted the Jerusalem Program, setting the framework for modern Zionism. The document outlines 5 core goals. These include the unity of the Jewish people, securing the borders, and strengthening the state based on what the program explicitly calls the prophetic vision of justice and peace. In the decades since that program was written, those ideals of justice were applied with clear limits. The Israeli military established a permanent administration over Palestinian life, which eventually solidified into a system of checkpoints and the concrete barrier seen here. That control includes the constant construction of new settlements by the Zionist state directly onto Palestinian land, actions widely condemned as illegal by much of the international community. Ultimately, Zionism succeeded in securing a sovereign state for a historically persecuted people, but the execution of that project has trapped the displaced Palestinian population in an ongoing, systemic crisis, leaving the foundational promise of peace unfulfilled.